Have you ever wondered if God is still working, even when you can't see Him? What if the greatest miracle isn't a dramatic sign from heaven, but a series of ordinary moments that quietly change everything? The story of Esther reminds us that even when God seems silent, He is never absent. And perhaps, just like Esther, you have been placed exactly where you are for such a time as this. Our story begins in the mighty Persian Empire, one of the largest kingdoms the world had ever seen. King Ahasuerus, also known as Xerxes I, ruled over 127 provinces stretching from India to Ethiopia. During a lavish royal banquet, Queen Vashti refused the king's command to appear before his guests. Because of her refusal, she was removed from her position as queen, leaving the throne empty. What appeared to be a political decision would soon become part of a much greater plan. Across the empire lived a young Jewish woman named Esther. She had lost both of her parents and was lovingly raised by her cousin Mordecai. Esther was known not only for her beauty, but also for her humility and wisdom. When the king searched for a new queen, Esther was brought to the palace. She found favor with those around her, and eventually the king chose her above all the other women. Esther became queen, yet she followed Mordecai's advice and kept her Jewish identity a secret. At first glance, it seemed like a remarkable rise from an ordinary orphan to the palace. But behind every step, God's unseen hand was quietly at work. Not long afterwards, Mordecai uncovered a conspiracy by two palace officials who planned to assassinate the king. He reported the plot through Esther, and the king's life was saved. The event was carefully recorded in the royal chronicles, although Mordecai received no immediate reward. Sometimes the good we do seems unnoticed, but God never forgets faithfulness, even when people do. Then the story takes a dramatic turn. A powerful official named Haman was promoted above all the other nobles. The king commanded everyone to bow before him, but Mordecai refused. As a faithful Jew, he would not give honor that belonged only to God. Haman's pride quickly turned into hatred. Instead of punishing Mordecai alone, he plotted to destroy every Jewish person throughout the Persian Empire. He convinced the king to issue a decree ordering the destruction of the Jews on a chosen day. When Mordecai learned of the decree, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and mourned openly. News soon reached Queen Esther. Mordecai sent Esther a powerful message that has inspired believers for generations. In Esther 4:14, he said, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Those words changed everything. Esther faced an impossible choice. By law, anyone who approached the king without being invited could be put to death unless the king extended his golden scepter. She could remain silent and stay safe, or she could risk her own life to save her people. Esther chose courage. Before taking action, she asked Mordecai to gather all the Jews in the city of Susa and fast for 3 days. Esther and her attendants fasted as well. Though the Book of Esther never directly mentions God, this act of fasting reflects complete dependence on His guidance and mercy. Then Esther made her unforgettable declaration, "If I perish, I perish." Esther 4:16. With courage strengthened by faith, Esther entered the king's court. The king saw her standing there and graciously extended his golden scepter. Esther's life was spared. Instead of making her request immediately, Esther wisely invited the king and Haman to a banquet. At the first banquet, she invited them to a second one the following day. Meanwhile, Haman's anger toward Mordecai grew even stronger. He ordered a tall gallows to be built, planning to have Mordecai executed. But that very night, everything changed. Unable to sleep, the king ordered the royal chronicles to be read aloud. There he discovered that Mordecai had once saved his life and had never been rewarded. At the exact moment Haman entered the palace intending to ask for Mordecai's execution, the king asked him, "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Believing the honor was meant for himself, Haman described an elaborate royal celebration. To his shock, the king instructed him to carry out every detail for Mordecai. The man Haman hated most was publicly honored by the very person who wanted him dead. At the second banquet, Esther finally revealed the truth. She courageously told the king that she was Jewish and that Haman's wicked scheme would destroy both her people and herself. The king was furious. When he learned of Haman's plot, He ordered Haman to be executed on the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. What the enemy intended for destruction became the very place of his downfall. Although Persian law could not cancel the original decree, the king issued a new decree allowing the Jewish people to defend themselves. When the appointed day arrived, they were victorious over those who sought to destroy them. Their sorrow was turned into celebration. Their fear became freedom. Their deliverance is still remembered today through the Jewish festival of Purim. The Book of Esther never once mentions the name of God, yet his fingerprints are on every page. From Esther becoming queen to Mordecai's forgotten act being remembered at just the right moment, every detail reminds us that God is always working behind the scenes. Perhaps you're facing a situation that feels impossible. Perhaps you're waiting for answers you cannot yet see. Esther's story reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to do what is right despite fear. It teaches us to trust God's timing, even when we don't understand his plan. And it reminds us that your current season may be preparing you for a purpose far greater than you realize. Just as Esther was placed in the palace for such a time as that, God may have placed you exactly where you are for a purpose only you can fulfill. So don't give up. Stand firm in your faith. Trust God's unseen hand. Because even when heaven seems silent, God is faithfully arranging every detail for your good and for his glory. If this story encouraged your heart today, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring Bible stories and faith-building content, and let us know in the comments. What part of Esther's story inspired you the most? And don't forget to share this video with someone who needs the reminder that God is always working behind the scenes. Until next time, may God strengthen your faith, fill you with courage, and remind you that you were created for such a time as this.